Yo, 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 welcome to Hard Pass. I am your host, Jacques Slade, and we've got a big show for you today. We've got the reselling of Virgil Abloh's Louis Vuitton Air Force Ones, a major collab dropping soon that's going to be a pain to buy, the week's hottest releases, and not one, not two, not even three, but 4 Hard Passes this week. All right, let's start with some hot takes. Julia Fox, aka the #1 hustler, her words, not mine, is the latest celebrity to hop on the Supreme bandwagon for their latest drop as part of director Harmony Korman's pseudo-retro ad campaign. Shout out to co-writer for letting me watch that clip on his laptop for several loops without his permission because I really don't need that in my browser history. I gotta say, if she is playing y'all like she says she is, the chapters in her book about the last 6 months are gonna be wild. And that yay clapback that you know is going to inevitably come from that, best work since Pablo, hopefully. Matt Damon and Ben Affleck are attached to a movie that will tell the story of Michael Jordan signing with Nike. Damon will play the legendary executive Sonny Vaccaro, and Affleck will take on the role of Phil Knight. Yeah, I can see the resemblance. Whatever. Anyway, they turned Colin Farrell into the Penguin, so really anything's possible, I guess. Didn't know we needed that story turned into a movie because every MJ fan can tell you what happened in excruciating detail, but okay. Looking forward to Robert Downey Jr. playing the role of young Michael Jordan. What? He was the dude disguised as a dude playing another dude. And co-writer, I know you love J-Lo, but I swear if Ben Affleck cast her as MJ's mom, I might explode. John Manolo on Instagram posted yet another cool sneaker restoration video, this time with the famous original Diamond Dunks. He replaced the shiny swoosh because the old ones were chipping away, which leads me to wonder, is it still the Diamond Dunks if we replace a swoosh here and an outsole there? Is this the sneaker of Theseus paradox? Shout out to WandaVision. Because you know, what are OG Dunks if not the swoosh persevering? John Morant's dad and Karl Anthony Towns' dad is the rivalry that I didn't know I wanted. They've been trash talking each other on the sideline for their son's playoff series because they have a bet going where the loser has to wear the winning Suns jersey. Man, Josh's dad is going to have a lot of explaining to do if the Wolves win and he has to wear a Karl Anthony Towns jersey during his Vegas residency. Woo. Kendrick Lamar, who may or may not be going by Oklahoma, or as autocorrect likes to say, Oklahoma, just announced that his final TDE album is coming on May 13th. It's been 5 years since Damn, which is to say, it's been too long. But it'll be worth it to hear some new Kung Fu Kenny, which autocorrects to John Cheadle for some reason. Big Head Mode is coming to Resident Evil 4 VR. No word if there's a Jack Harlow skin included in the update. Yay, Jacques knows who Jack Harlow is. I always knew. It's just that poking fun at sensitive fan bases never gets old. Shout out to you MJ stans, I see you. Before we move on to the next segment, I just want to take the time to recognize a hero of the internet. And that's this king or queen, whoever filmed Tyler, the Creator performance in 3D on their Nintendo 3DS in 2022. A little over a decade after we collectively decided that 3D was not going to be the vibes. The frame rate on that is going to be as janky as you can get, but I respect the dedication, whoever you are. All right, Complex Sneaker had a big feature on something that really hasn't gotten a lot of attention. The reselling of the friends and family pairs of the Louis Vuitton and Nike Air Force Ones designed by the late Virgil Abloh. These are different from the 200 brown pairs that were up for auction several weeks ago and the soft retail launch that fans are still waiting on. Anyways, the friends and family sneakers are the green, blue, light blue, yellow, orange, purple, red, and the black pairs that you've seen posted by celebrities and close associates for Virgil on social media, and some of them have actually made their way to prominent sneaker resellers across the world. As Complex notes in their story, the identity of those who move their pairs are not being revealed for fear of being cut off from other exclusive Nike products and the public shaming that would go along with selling something that turned out to be a posthumous gift. It's a situation that I've given a lot of thought lately. What if, for whatever reason, I was among the select few who received a pair of these sneakers? Now, full disclosure, I never met Virgil Abloh, so being on his list was out of the question. But there was a time when I could have received a pair directly from Nike. Emphasis on there was a time because, as you can tell from my sneaker video output lately, changed. Anyway, there is a wild number in my head where I might be tempted to let it go. But I can't see myself ever selling a pair of these for the prices that Complex was reporting they were going for, which was nearing the 6-figure mark. They have a ton of historical significance, and having them around for archival purposes will come in handy in the future. On the other hand, if I were in Virgil's inner circle and on his personal list, they haven't made that number yet that would make me consider selling them. In Complex's story, they talked to Joe Holder, a friend of Virgil's, and that while he doesn't begrudge those who sold their pairs, he can't imagine doing it himself. So same, Joe, same. So let me ask you, the Hard Pass audience, what would you do in a situation similar to Holder's? Is there a price on a friend's final gift, or is that something you never let go of? Let me know down in the comments below. All right, it's time for the Heat Check, where we bring you everything that's dropping this week. We have the Nike Air Griffey Max 1 Wheat on the 27th for $170. The Reebok Answer 4, Only the Strong Survive on the 28th for $140. We have the Air Force 1 Mid USA on the 28th for $140. We have the Women's Air Jordan 11 Low Pure Violet on the 28th for $190. And then we have the Jordan 13 Navy on the 29th for $200. On the Puma side, we have the MB-01 Galaxy on the 29th for $125. Then my pick of the week is the Billie Eilish Nike Air Force 1 Mushroom on the 25th for $170. Now, I know what you're thinking. Jacques, you wouldn't actually wear these, would you? And you would be right. I'm sacrificing my pick of the week in the hopes that the hype for these blows up and that casual sneaker fans will latch on to these and leave the crispy white Air Force 1 lows at retail price. For the Dr. Dre's of the world, who need a fresh pair for every day of the week. And now for a heat check on, and I can't believe I'm saying this, the Hello Kitty Nike Air Presto. After a botched 2004 release that never materialized except for a lucky few who got friends and family pairs, we are getting an actual release sometime in May in a new colorway. This is less of a heat check and more of a warning. If you are planning on buying a pair of these, good freaking luck. Depending on how limited these are, and I really hope they're not, this could be one of the most sought after sneakers of 2022. You will not only be competing with resellers, Presto fans, and probably your baby sister, but you're going up against Hello Kitty fans. And let me tell you, they don't f around. Have you seen the lines at a Hello Kitty cafe truck or a pop-up shop? They can stretch for hours just to buy themed drinks or donuts shaped like the iconic character. Like, check out this superfan who has over a world record 5,000 Hello Kitty items. It's a collection so big, it's even acknowledged by the Guinness Book of World Records. A $250,000 Hello Kitty house on a policeman's salary? That guy ain't around. Just a fair warning to everybody out there who might think it would be cute to grab a pair. Like the RZA once said, probably, Hello Kitty fans ain't nothing to fuck with. All right, it's time for this week's Hard Pass, where we take a look at 3 things in the culture that just needs to go. All right, let's start with the reaction to Travis Scott's appearance at the Jordan Brand Classics. Scott popped up ahead of the games as a surprise for the JBC squads, and while everybody in the video was overjoyed to see the artist, the internet had other plans. As you might imagine, the tragedy from Scott's Astroworld Festival that left 10 people dead is not far from people's minds. Scott and his fans won't like it, but it's going to come up anytime he shows up in public, performs at private events, puts out a statement, makes a social media post, basically anything that can be construed as not caring about the Astroworld tragedy, fair or not. And while some critics in bad faith are merely being performatively outraged and don't actually care about the victims, the Travis defenders don't do themselves any favors either by saying equally appalling stuff. The comments on both sides were, let's just say, the worst. Can we all just agree that posting long, rambling soliloquies on Instagram, no matter how you feel about what happened, does absolutely nothing for the discourse? The only thing these dumb internet fights do is cheapen the horror of what happened on that day and reduces the deceased to talking points. Let's not do that. Oh, and please, please, don't express your anger at the tragedy for the lack of new Travis music or Cactus Jack sneakers. Karma was gonna give you an L anyway, even if they did come out. Next, we're handing out a hard pass to Sega. Yep, Co-Rider's beloved Sega is getting the treatment this week for their Super Game Initiative. That last part was in all caps because that's how Sega is writing it, apparently. According to a report from Bloomberg, Sega is getting ready to reboot 2 beloved franchises from the early 2000s, Crazy Taxi and Jet Set Radio. It sounds like great news, no? Co-Rider loves both of those games, and I remember playing Crazy Taxi in the arcade back in the days with that one Offspring song just playing on a loop. And Sega is not only prepping both titles for a return to prominence, they are giving them the big budget treatment in hopes that they will connect with this generation of gamers. And how are they reportedly planning on doing that? By turning both games into Fortnite Lite, of course. Bloomberg is saying that both games will not be the single-player experiences that were in the past, but rather free-to-play multiplayer affairs with plenty of microtransactions and branded content. Oh, and NFTs for reasons unexplained. Actually, that's a big part of why we're giving Sega a hard pass, because if they're trying to replicate what Fortnite, the biggest thing in the world, we don't believe throwing in an NFT component is going to be the equalizer that they think it is. Like, I can imagine a version of Crazy Taxi that places you in a giant map where you're competing with other drivers for the top fares. The mayhem of crashing into other drivers and messing up their routes has plenty of potential, I think. On the business side, it's easy to picture players buying skins for their avatar, their car, and their gear. Like, your driver could be virtual Taylor Swift, rocking certified Liverpool Air Force Ones in a Tesla taxi. Season passes could have themes like the history of a particular car company, like you work your way up through BMW's catalog. Yeah, I could see it. A Jet Set revival could really benefit from a team setup where you and a group of fellow juvenile delinquents tag an entire city while rocking the hottest in late 90s and early 2000s gear. Imagine a world that looked like Janet Jackson's Doesn't Really Matter music video, and you get the idea. You can buy custom tags from other creators, or you can buy branded tags. Sure, the idea of an entire city being tagged with logos from Shake Shack and Target and AMC theaters is the antithesis of graffiti culture, but selling out isn't exactly as big of a deal as it was back in the 90s. Take those games ideas, put a ton of money on it, and it has potential. I don't know if it has Fortnite potential, because that's basically the metaverse without actually being called the metaverse, but I think it can occupy a niche that makes Sega a lot of money. But yeah, that NFT part, that part can suck it. And finally, a hard pass to the lack of imagination from these new sneaker reseller stores. No, look, this is not an indictment on reselling as a whole, because let's face it, we live in a capitalist society. I wish there were wholesale changes to the system of sneaker releases. We've talked about my pre-order idea for some time now, and I will bang that drum until I'm proven otherwise. But yeah, that's not what we're talking about today. What I'm talking about are the mushrooming number of actual physical stores popping up all across the country that are reselling basic ass kicks, and how boring a lot, but not all, of them are. It's like every other city I go, every other sneaker store, I see the same hoodies by Supreme and Yeezy Gap. They all stock the same pairs of retros, dunks, and Yeezys that dropped within the last 6 months. It's so bad that you're shocked to find something that was released in 2020, and you're overjoyed to see anything from the 2010s. Co-writer, the real one, was on vacation this Easter weekend, and he saw a handful of these stores open up all over the city. He couldn't be bothered to step inside any of them because there was nothing in them that piqued his interest. And the ambiance? It's the same too. Just boxes of Cactus Jack cereals mixed with indiscernible Supreme skate decks and whatever bear bricks they could afford to populate their space. I don't know, man. On the one hand, a lot of these stores seem to be run by people who are younger than myself, so I admire the entrepreneurial spirit. I do. I would never do anything to discourage them from getting out there and forging a path that maybe just begins with sneakers and moved on to something bigger and better, i.e. not reselling sneakers. On the other hand, I wish these same kids would hire somebody outside of their friend group to decorate their stores. Not every store can be Flight Club or Stadium Goods. Those places have established fan bases and connections and are able to stock sneakers of all kinds from the 2010s and the 2000s and even earlier. These newer stores have nothing but basic ass Panda Dunks, Paul and Jordan 1s, and Zebra Yeezys. Like, you expect somebody to be impressed because you got a pair of Union 1s sitting behind a glass case, a shoe that's been shared on social media more times than a bad picture of LeBron's hairline? Show off some Pit Crew 3s or Adidas Stan Smiths that the real Stan Smith wore back in the day. Give your customers a reason, a hook to come back. Along with whatever box logo shirts you have in stores, stock smaller brands from up-and-coming designers that could one day blow up. Hire people who won't act like Jack Black from High Fidelity when customers ask a question about sneakers. Something. Anything, right? Look, if I had a killer idea for a retail establishment, believe me, I would have already done it. But what I do know is when I step into a store, I already have a feeling if it's going to be there for a while or if it's its grand opening and its grand closing. And also, a bonus hard pass to brands on 420, aka the new brands on April Fool's Day. We get it. You like weed. We all like weed now. It's not special anymore, brands. No need to embarrass yourself on social media with dad jokes to prove you're hip. Just stop it, please. Unfortunately, I know you won't, and I'll see you on May 4th and May 5th. 2 more holidays where brands just can't seem to help themselves. And that's going to do it for the show today. Thank you guys for watching Hard Pass. Leave me a message on what you think about the topics we covered today. I am Jacques Slade. I'll see you next week, but not before I leave you with another listener Hard Pass.
What's up, Jacques? This is Achilles, and my Hard Pass for this week is, I don't know why DJ Khaled keeps getting these exclusive Jordan he hasn't done anything for sneakers in general, and I just don't understand why Jordan keeps giving him these exclusive sneakers. Thank you.
If you would like to be possibly featured in the future episode, call us at 818-493-9325. Leave a short message, your socials if you want, no more than 30 seconds. Oh, and one last thing before I go. If you're looking for a movie to check out in theaters that doesn't require you to have seen the previous 30 entries to make sense of it, check out Everything Everywhere All at Once, starring OG co-writer crush Michelle Yeoh. It proves you can make a fun but also enduring multiverse story without bogging it down in Marvel minutia or art house pretentiousness. All right. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.